A cousin of mine was telling me to have a crucifix on the wall of your house is considered an idol. So I was kind of wondering what your thoughts were on that.
Well, Diane, anything can become an idol. I know people that idolize the Bible. You go in their house and it's right there on the coffee table. They never read it. Never. No, we stored locks of baby hair and we put $2 bills in there and things like that. But that's our symbol. I think anything can become an idol. And an idol is simply man's thoughts of what the real and the unseen world is. Now, again, when you see a crucifix, now you see a cross, I don't know. I think a lot of times, especially in churches, I think that's fine. I think Jesus on the cross, though, is an issue because Jesus died for our sins, but that's not the end of the story. Lots of people died on crosses, but only Jesus rose from the dead. And therefore, you see an empty cross when you deal with, I believe, true Christianity. Your thoughts?
I agree. I think for some people, a cross can become a talisman, a good luck charm. I have my cross. I remember years ago, one of my son's baseball teams, and when he was a young boy, there was a man who he was going through kidney surgery and failure, and he was having to have dialysis. And remember, he would always come to the game, and he had this wooden cross, and he knew that I was a pastor. And he always said to me, I hold on to this because this really, and it was, in a sense, it was some kind of a good luck charm for him or something that he drew strength from the cross. Listen, the cross, we don't worship the cross. We worship the one who was on the cross and who died and rose again. I don't think it's wrong to have a cross in your house. If you worship a crucifix, if you worship any kind of idol, that would be wrong. But when I see a cross, I'm grateful. You know, I had a good friend years ago, friend of my dad's, when he would see somebody with a cross necklace, and a lot of people wear them, and he'd say, "Oh, I love your necklace." He would say to the person, "My best friend died on one of those." And the person would look at him and say, "What?" And he would just launch into the gospel, when he saw somebody with a cross. But I don't think we worship it. It is a reminder, but I would say there are some who do worship it. And I think that's improper because that's God. We're not to worship idols or to make any idols. That could be a person, that could be a cross, that could be anything. So you definitely want to avoid that.
Yeah, it's like the guy that got on an airplane, sits down, his minister starts reading his Bible. This guy gets on. He was a hipster kind of guy, had a big crucifix around his neck and gold chains. And he sat down next to him and they talked a little bit about God. The plane takes off. All of a sudden, the masks drop out from above. They said, "We're going through very, very turbulent weather. We just really hold on tight." And this guy got really scared, and he starts rubbing the cross around his neck, and he just kept rubbing. And the turbulence just got worse and worse. Finally, he looks over at the minister who had been reading his Bible, and he looks at him and says, "How do you work this thing?" Well, that's kind of the problem. We look at sometimes things of faith as to remind us of maybe what was once there a long time ago. And I believe this is why the Bible tells us in the Ten Commandments not to make graven images. Because again, how would a man ever really, truly understand the majesty of God, whether it's what God looks like, the magnitude of what Jesus did for us on the cross, whatever it would be to be carved into something and oftentimes sidelined. I think that's where the problem comes, Diane. Hope that helps.